did you actually, yeah, you got to see them perform live, I'm assuming. Did you have any other contact with them? Or?
I didn't have continuing contact with Anne. I had contact with Robert for many years. I went to many of his master classes, and at a distance, since he lived in Europe all that time, by email he was very supportive, and he encouraged me to make my own pieces and continue to seek out audiences in a new way and produce my own shows and just go where you could find the people who wanted to hear this music.
So, in addition to your obvious sonic and musical influences, are there other artistic endeavors, other forms of art, other non-forms of art, other non-musical elements that have influenced your musical life and how you portray it?
Before I even started writing music or playing music, I was writing creatively as a little kid. Stories, and later on, extremely bad poetry, as we all do. But writing and music were the two things I was devoted to, and I actually double majored in creative writing and music as an undergrad at first, and they were both such demanding disciplines that I had to choose one or the other, so I decided I would just do music as an undergrad and then as a graduate student. But the writing, kept going in the background, and so I started combining my original text with my flute, with my extended flute music, and for many years I did original text with music, and so it's only been recently that I've transitioned into the found text.
Right.
And I'm really having a lot of fun with that.
Well, actually, tell us a little bit about what you mean by found text.
I mean text that has come about in a random way, or it's been written by somebody else, but it's been neglected for so many years that it's found text, or it was never meant as creative writing, but yet when you read it or you hear it, it has an aesthetic component to it. And it can be used artistically. So what I'm really obsessed with right now is spoetry.
Spoetry?
Yes. Spoetry is spam from your spam filter.
Oh, from email.
From email, from the internet, but the really good kind.
Okay.
We're not talking about Nigerian money scams. We're talking about the concoctions of the internet designed to evade your spam filter, but which, because of the techniques they use, they become poetry. So it's kind of in the junk note vein of modern poetry, but it's done by programs and by spammers for the sole purpose of selling you something. Right. So it's not really meant as a creative work, but it ends up looking that way and feeling and sounding that way.
And the way you take that spam and you make it into poetry, it sounds like. You say spoetry, right?
Yeah, I regard it as poetry. It's poetry that's been given to me by the internet.
I see.
It's just been, I've been presented with it, so now we can make an artistic decision to, in this case, in the case of Reconnaissance Fly's work, setting it to music. And
which you'll be bringing to the summit.
Yeah. Reconnaissance Fly is the band that I'm in, and we're a band of composers. So what we've been doing is, as I collect the spoems, I've been handing them out to the members, myself included, to set them to music. And so we choose different genres. Some of them are cultural styles, and some of them are pop styles, and some of them are graphic scores, frameworks for improvisation, and so they're all very different. And we have a shifting set of music and a shifting set of imagery going on, which there will be 10 movements of this work, which we call Flower Futures.
That's right.
Which we'll present.
Well, I think I read the Spong cycle, right? You call it the Spong cycle.
We call it a Spong cycle because they've all kind of congealed into a song sort of form.
Right.
I sing some of them and I speak some of them.
I see.
But we're calling it a spawn cycle.
So when folks come to hear you play with the band on 23rd, and they'll hear vocal work, they'll hear flute work, and what else could you tell somebody who's never heard what you do, what they might experience, or what the sound is like, or anything like that?
Well, my bandmates Tim and Amar will contribute electric bass and keyboards and electronic processing and electronic sounds to the mix. And our special guest Mo Stiano, who's a drummer, is going to contribute percussion. So it's kind of a modified rock band format.
Okay.
We find a lot of humor in the poems.
I'm sure.
So you're probably going to giggle at some of them. So it's not a formal and deadly serious kind of performance.
Okay.
We're lighthearted about it, and
so there's an element of entertainment mixed with the element of seriousness of the improv together.
Yes. We take our art very seriously.
Yeah.
We don't take ourselves very seriously,
Right.
and we are wanting to make stuff that is fun for us to play and fun for the audience.
The best combination, I think, actually. On a personal level, I enjoy the humor of performance. I think it adds an extra zest to a show. Well, thank you for letting us come and talk with you. And
thanks for coming by.
Yeah, absolutely. So hope to see you all at the Outsound New Music Summit on July 23rd, where you can hear Polly Moller do her poetry with Reconnaissance Fly. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.